Das Bäumel hat gehabt ein Zweigerle, und das Zweigerle hat gehabt ein Kiesterle, und das Nächsterle ist gewesen ein Vögel, und das Vögel hat gehabt Flügel. Lulenke, mein Vögel, Lulenke, mein Kind, hab ungeheuren aus der Liebe, hey, ist mir
And you see here Lin Jaldti, Rivka Brillesleiper, and you see her husband, Jalda Rebling, who came in 1936 from Berlin. He went from Berlin to the Netherlands. And there he met Lientje Brillesleiper, who was the most beautiful young woman of Amsterdam, as you can imagine, and he totally fell in love with her. And she always was singing so interesting songs, and he was a German pianist and musicologist. He never had heard those songs. And she said, oh, these are Yiddish songs. And he said, let us play together. And in 1938, they started to put together programs with Yiddish songs, and he played some music. And they became very successful. They were in contact with Yivo in Vilna. But then the history came to the Netherlands and their whole life changed. In 1941, my sister Katinka was born. And it was a story of resistance, a story of betrayal, a story of illegal life, a story of a man, my father, who could escape thanks to my aunt Jannie Brillesleiper, my sister who was hidden, a hidden child in the Netherlands, and my mom Lientje and her sister Jannie, who went away from Westerbork to Auschwitz and who were liberated in 1945, 15th April 1945. In Bergen-Belsen. How did they come to East Berlin? Can you imagine? They went to Germany, and what did my mom do in Germany? What she always did before the war, in illegal house concerts, during her time in the concentration camps, right after the liberation, singing Yiddish songs kept her, the Shoah survivor, alive. This is Lin in the beginning of the 50s in East Germany, and her songs became famous, and you will hear her voice of one of those songs who made her really famous. Till today, people remember her singing Es brennt von Mordechai Gebirtig.
Es brennt, Brüderle, es brennt, bei unserem Städten aber brennt. Diese Winter mit ihr Husen reißen, brechen und zerblusen, starke noch die wilde Flammen, als schon brennt. Und ihr steht und guckt da so in sich mit verlegte Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt da so in sich, wie unser Städtele brennt. Es brennt, Brüderle, es brennt, bei unserem Städteln aber brennt. Es haben schon die Feier gesungen, das ganze Städtel umgeschlungen, und die böse Winde nuschen, als schon brennt. Und ihr steht und guckt da so in sich mit verlegter Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt da so in sich, wie unser Städtele brennt.
Brennt von Mordechai Gebirtig became her song. She was singing for many, many years, not only in East Berlin, but all around the world. Let us move on in our story, And before that, I want to sing a Yiddish song for you. My mom loved very much, and me as a slowly grown child in a world where the home was very different from the world outside. I learned to speak German on the streets, outside, not at home. We never spoke German at home. Die Mama drei Jingerlech gehabt, mit weicher Reute Bäckerlech, mit Deckerlech, mit zarte Samen, mit Glas. Hat eins geheißen Bärle, das zweite kein Schmerle, das dritte hat geheißen, wenn soll ihr kaufen Schicht? Ich hab euch abgelernt, ich hab gewusst, ihr wart, das dritte kleine Jingerle, das dritte, das bin ich, das dritte kleine Jingerle, das dritte, das bin ich. Die Mama hat 3 Nieserlech von dem Jahr gebracht, 3 gute, fette Nieserlech, 3 Nieserlech abbracht. Ist eins gefängt für Bärle, das zweite für ein Schmerle, und gar das fetzte Nieser hat sie gelost für sich. Ihr wundert sich ein bisschen, verwusst nicht mehr an Nieser, no? Du weißt schon? Weil Niesen, Niesen, Nieserle, weil Niesen, das bin ich. Weil Niesen, Niesen, Nieserle, weil Niesen, das bin ich. That's a play with the words. Nieserle is a nut, and Niesen is also Nathan, the diminutive for Nathan, Nieserle. So he was telling the story that the mama had went to the market, and there she bought 3 beautiful nuts. And the most beautiful nut she took by herself. Why? Because her most beloved nut, Nieserle, das bin ich. This is the little boy. So let's move on a little farther. You see, slowly I'm becoming a teenager. And I tell you, I was a very bad teenager. My mommy had a hard time with me, and she always used to say, I don't wish you nothing bad, I only wish you a daughter like that.
Oh. My mother used to say.
Finally, I gave birth to 3 sons, but that was sometimes also not really easy. This picture was made in the middle of the 60s, in the beginning and 50s, beginning of the 60s. You remember in 1961 the Berlin Wall was built, and everybody hoped it will only be for a short time. And there was very blossoming in the cultural life in East Berlin in those times. They started a Hutmeni. That means that people gathered just to sing, to share songs, all kinds of songs from all over the world. And in this time, my mom loved to sing a song. Wo wird sein, dass Mashiach wird kommen. I have now a recording of the song for you, what was made much later, when I already with my mom together was singing this song. The violin, that's my sister.
Mir
express our emotions and all we want. Let's write our own music. Let's do something together. Get a new twist in the year 1965 when the East German government decided to give some lines how culture people or artists, what they had to do to write. It was a difficult time for artists, and the whole Hutneni movement turned into a singing movement. And one of the songs I was singing in this time was the following. Als men fort kein Sevastopol ist nicht weit von Simferopol, dorten ist a Stanzie voran. Wer darf suchen neue Glicken, sie ist a Stanzie an Artikel in Jankoye, Jan. Hey Jan, Koye, hey Jan Billy, hey Jan Koye, Jan. Hey Jan, Koye, Jan Billy, hey Jan Koye, Jan. Entfert je neuf mein Kasche, wo's mein Bruder, wo's a Brasche, es geht bei ihm der Traktor wie a Bahn. Die Mummeleie bei der Kossilke, Weile bei der Molotilke, in Jan Koye, Jan. Hey Jan, Koye, Jan Billy, hey Jan Koye, Jan. Hey Jan, Koye, Jan Billy, hey Jan Koye, Jan. But then, at the 6th of June in 1967, you remember this date?
Yeah.
The beginning of the 6-day war. It was also the 5th of June, the day that in 1942, Mordechai Gebirtig was murdered in the ghetto of Krakow. And in Berlin, in the House of the Polish Culture, there was a big concert given by my parents to remember the fantastic poet, singer, Yiddish singer-songwriter, Mordechai Gebirtig. It would be her last concert in the city of Berlin for many, many years, because what was going on in the big politics stopped her from singing Yiddish songs in East Germany, except 3 concerts. And these concerts took place in universities, in their rooms where the students met each other. Students invited her to tell her story and to sing Yiddish songs. So she was singing Yiddish songs around the world, all over the world, but not in East Germany. They cut her out of radio programs, of a TV show. Very hard time for my mom. In this time I was a high school kid, and it was the only time in my life that I was wearing a very big Magen David. And it was also the time that we were walking around in blue jeans where it was written on "Make Love Not War." And the teachers in East Berlin didn't like where I was walking with. And somebody came to me, was showing on my Magen David and said to me, "You are wearing the sign of the imperialistic aggressor." And I said, "Listen," high school kid. And I said, "Listen, these are my grandparents who were murdered in Auschwitz." And he didn't know what to answer. Not an easy time for all of us. And it was a time when I finished high school that I definitely want to leave East Berlin. I wanted to leave the country. I wanted to go out into the world. Years later, I learned that children of Shoah survivors never would leave their parents.
Und gut lernen und Geld verdienen. Der Seele und der Zeit von dir schlägt euch nach Cyberletzten Jahren, bis euch viel besser nicht gewinnt von mir. Dein Renner hat mich euch geschlagen. Eins kennenzulernen und das Geld dazu. Auf das New
of the 70s, I went to theater school, to the famous theater school, actor school, what was founded by Max Reinhardt. And then in 1978, the kindergarten invited my mom because they wanted to give themselves the name of Anne Frank. And my mom suddenly said, it's so crazy. In my mind, she is still the young girl she was. And the story is that my parents were caught by the Nazis at the same time as the family Frank was caught. So they went together the way from Westerbork to Auschwitz to Bergen-Belsen. All of them were in the last train, and the Dutch girls and women took care for each other as good as possible. So my mom and her sister, Jannie Wilde-Slijper, were the two women who had to witness to Otto Frank that his kids will not come back. And she thought, I have to do something for Anne. But therefore, she meets an actress who was reading the diary. I said, okay, Mom, I'm happy to do it for you. And she said to me, but you will sing some of those Yiddish songs with me. And I said, never. You are so famous on the stage, shall I stand at your side? That will not work. And you will sing. No, yes, okay. What can I do? And when we started this evening for Anne Frank, we did not know that for another 10 years, the diary of Anne Frank and our presentation of it, combined with the story of my mom, how she met Anne Frank, will take us all over the world, from Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, over Paris, Amsterdam for sure, till New York, Boston, and Washington. And I started to learn, really to learn. The moment that my mom took me and forced me to sing together with her Yiddish songs, this started my real journey to study Yiddishkeit in all dimensions. And I will never stop this journey, never. Here we have an amazing story, what happened, as you can see, at the 8th of November 1953. In Berlin there is a train station called Berlin-Grunewald, and today you find there a fantastic memorial for all those trains who left from there with the Jews from Berlin to the concentration camps. But in those times, in 1953, there was nothing there. And a group of people decided, we want to bring there a sign that tells the story in the commemoration of those who were murdered from the city of Berlin. And this gathering of people who wanted to bring on the sign there at the S-Bahnhof Grunewald was suddenly forbidden. And the police came, as you can see here, and said, it's not allowed to talk. And then my mom stood there and said, it's not allowed to talk, but we can sing. And she sang, Sollt nicht gehen mal als du gehst im letzten Weg, Gott Himmel bleien verstellen neue Tag. Kommen wird noch unser Haus gedenkte Schau, es wird abbeuten unser Trott, wir sind da. Kommen wird noch unser Haus gedenkte Schau, es wird abbeuten unser Trott, wir sind da. Today you have all over Germany, every 9th of November, big commemoration of the Kristallnacht. And people don't use the word Kristallnacht anymore because it's politically incorrect. They are talking about the pogrom night of the 9th of November 1938. That's the way times are changing. I want now to present to you a recording of a poem written by Moshe Schulstein about Shir, a hill of shoes, what I never heard presented in the way my mother did it. So I ask you now to open your eyes, your heart, really to listen to this poem by Moshe Schulstein, what is telling how the shoes, the leftover shoes, are going to accuse those who made the murder happen.
Gedanken, zu scheiden, das Gang von alt und jung. Der Leben ist weg von uns verborgen, hat uns zusammen gescheunt und nicht erworben, bei mir von Haus und Kerl und Mund. Hört euch den Marsch, hört euch den Himmel, von schier verbliebenen in den letzten Sinnen, von klein und groß, von Kind und Kind. Alvare, rein, vor, Alvare, war die Deures, war die Joren, die Schierarmee, sie geht und geht. Wir sind Schier, wir sind die letzte Liebe, wir sind Schier, Frieden und Segen und Gott. Paris und Amsterdam. Und weil wir seinen Fleisch und Stoff und Leben und nicht von Fleisch und Blut, hat jeder gemitten in jenem Flamm. Und auch wo gehen wir und klappen, so nicht bewiesen unser Rein zu kappen, der Taillen in sein Räubersack. Jetzt gehen wir zu ihm, so jeder Herr. Die tritt, was gehen wie das Blut von Tränen, die tritt, was klappen aus dem Sack. Und Herd, wer schlägt einmal nicht an der Herren, unser gehen durch Teufelsfeld. Wir gehen, stoppt euch, stoppt ein, Teute Opfer von allem. Wir wollen kein Mal, eigentlich keine Ruhigkeit. Und gehen.